So I love using ketamine therapy mainly for treatment-resistant depression, PTSD, or even complex PTSD. I would say, interestingly, it has just a profound impact for grief or even anticipatory grief. And what I mean by anticipatory grief is mothers who are grieving not being, women who are grieving not being able to be mothers. And so losing that part of themselves, knowing that, gosh, I'll never be able to conceive in this way and what that means for me. And also a lot of high functioning folks. So think CEOs, CFOs, they're doing it all. They're doing it all and spread so thin that sometimes there's a sense of, why am I doing this? What is my real purpose? And so they go into that meaning making space to figure out who they are. My biggest clientele, which I feel so excited to say, is our multicultural folks. And they come in because they want someone who is a person of color, who understands the immigration experience, who understands the cultural nuances that may come up through these psychedelic journeys. And many of my clients have already tried talk therapy. They've tried SSRIs and mood stabilizers. And I want to take a minute and really share the research here between psychedelics, ketamine, and SSRIs. They both actually, SSRIs are about 30 to 40% effective, and ketamine-assisted therapy is closer to 50 to 60% effective. Now, the biggest difference between these two is if you stop both of them, within 2 weeks, all the symptoms are going to come back. The only difference is integration. And so a lot of people think, gosh, ketamine's going to cure me. This medicine is going to cure me. No, it's the integration with the ketamine that's going to help you reach a space that you want to be in. And integration takes us all the way to up to 6 months where that change is anchored in that sense of peace, happiness is felt. So a lot of my work before actually doing any of the medicine is helping clients understand, gosh, this ketamine isn't the cure, you're the cure. You have to trust that first before we can even journey.
But there's something with the integration that without the ketamine we wouldn't have. And that could be partially we're slowing down, we're reconnecting, we're embodying, but something is moving and changing within us. So that is quite radical, that we can do something for a short period of time, but that it opens something up that in a sense can lead to permanent change without having to take a tablet every single day. That's radical.
Yeah.
Looking at integration, Hector, how do you describe what integration is, particularly for folks that aren't familiar with psychedelic protocols and treatment and research? What is integration?
Yeah, I would say integration is the heart and soul of the psychedelic experience, and it's where real healing actually happens. Ketamine gives you this like neuroplastic window that you talked about earlier, and it lasts for about 1 to 2 weeks. So your brain is really malleable, more open to wiring than you can even imagine. And when you feed it the things that you want to shift into with behaviors, with thought patterns, with practices, with habits, with relationships, you become and create this new blueprint for your life. I really like to think about this as you have this like clay figure of a person. And what ketamine does is it gives you this opportunity to remold it into a circle and recreate this new figure. But that requires time, that requires patience, that requires fine tuning and smoothing out the edges. So I always tell people to treat the 1 to 2 weeks of a psychedelic experience as if every single day is sacred, as if you are rebuilding this new blueprint, this version of you. And so be intentional, but what does that actually look like in practice? And there's a few things I encourage. One, movement. We've learned time after time that our body heals through movement. Inflammation gets reduced. More serotonin in the gut gets built with movement. Movement is key, whether that's gentle yoga, whether that's walking, whether that's dancing, which is by far my favorite, or even Muay Thai, which I love practicing. Any type of movement increases energy. And I've had clients come back and say, gosh, I just don't have energy. And something I tell people is energy is created and built upon more energy. And there's research over this. When you sleep too much, you're tired. When you eat too much, you're tired. Your energy is built when you eat just enough, sleep just enough, and you expand on that. A lot of the reason we think we don't have energy is because our mind is telling us that. It's not really our body. So number 2, meditation, breath work, meditation, breath work, or prayer. And this is keeping our nervous system regulated intentionally. It's creating that pause and focusing on that pause in between breaths. And when we do that, we are taking control of our nervous system and not letting it control us. It lets the mind recognize that there is this correlation between the two. And prayer also connects us with something greater than ourselves. When we're looking at that, we're not focused on a tunnel vision. We're looking at it in an expanded way. And we can then begin to identify with purpose there and meaning. Why am I living this world? Why am I living in this world? What is my purpose? What am I meant to do? And it starts to also erode at that ego, that voice that says, this is how you should be. This is what you're labeled. And so I really love incorporating that. The third is journals, and in modern day voice notes. They go a long way. When you are writing down something, when you are talking through something, when you are even mirror talking, it gives your brain a chance to process, and it activates the left side of the brain and not only the right side where emotions sit. But when we're activating this other side, there's a sense of rationality that starts to come in, and a knowing that we hadn't known before because we were only feeling. And it pulls you back and starts to help you identify old patterns, old narratives. The fourth one is therapeutic integration. So this looks like something you would do with a therapist, a trusted and cultured shaman, someone who's done the work for years, or a guide that's in the space. And you could include a lot of different modalities. The ones that we love to work with are EMDR, IFS, and brain spotting, and somatic therapy, which you brought up earlier. So this puts you back into the body. It puts you back into the fragmented parts and brings them together. So doing that deep work in that time can be healing. The last one, which I know you and I hold really strongly in belief with, is community and nature. Go and connect with people. Go and connect with birds and nature and plants, and spend time watering your plants and just observing, like, where are they growing, what's dying. And just that connection is so powerful, and it just keeps you centered. And a lot of this is sacred repetition. You do that for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, your whole biology and chemistry is going to start to change and alter.